What's up, guys? It's Jesus here with the Van Bros, and today we're going to be going over the Start Deck Blaster Blade for Cardfight Vanguard's 15th anniversary. We just got this product revealed this morning, literally as I was getting ready for work. I was seeing the translations go up on Twitter. My thoughts on this product, since I've already read the cards. Honestly, I think it's a pretty good product. I think a lot of people are kind of going a bit crazy when it comes to judging this deck. And honestly, it's a very common thing with the Cardfight Vanguard community, like whether it be on Vanguardians, Reddit, or Twitter. Everybody's just going to go and say, oh man, this card is just not as good as this. And yes, you have to compare and contrast with the elephant in the room, which is the Kai Trial deck. The Kai Trial deck is a lot stronger than this. But to go out and say that this is a bad product because it's just not as strong as the Kai one, like, I don't know. I feel like this deck does a lot of good, and it at least opens up more creative deck building than the Kai one does, which makes sense because Royal Paladin has more encounter options than Kagero does. Kagero has only had 2 sets, whereas Royals have gotten now their own set here. They've gotten Gancelot, as well as that other grade one. They also have the access to not just the stuff from their own sets, but also other Keter encounters like Coco. I don't have Coco in one of my slides, but Coco is probably going to be ran at 4 in this deck, just because, I mean, Coco is a really, really good card. Anyways, first I want to look at my prediction. This was what I predicted we would get. Let's see here. Let's just let's see. We had 4 Soul Saver, 4 Alfred, 4 Blaster Blade. First mistake was the 4 Akane. 4 Gallatin was correct. I made the mistake of trying to think Bushiroad wanted to do patterns, so I thought, oh, we're just gonna get the shitty like Soul Cycler, and then like a Regalis piece that hadn't been reprinted in a while. But honestly, I will say the reprints in this are a lot stronger than the Kagero ones, in my opinion. Mainly because you're reprinting 2 important cards for your nation, whereas the Kagero one is just kind of like reprinting, not slop, but it's just reprinting crap. Like, do you think they really needed the Soul Cycler? I mean, not really. They didn't really need that. They could have done anything else, to be honest. Maybe even a Threatening Roar. Fuck it. If you're gonna reprint something, might as well give them the second free Regalis piece that Dragon Empire can run. And Forbidal. That's such a weird thing to reprint for. I mean, like, Forbidal, what does it do? It calls 2 grade 3s with different names, so you're calling 2, you know, like 2 of your Persona Ride targets. Granted, you're not going to Persona Ride that often, but still. But yeah, we have that 3 Marin, 4 Isolt, 4 Wingle, 4 Pongo. That's another one that we got wrong. We ended up getting the 1 Sergao, which is cool. But I feel like we're kind of... Oh, no, we got Lien, too. Which is cool. The triggers, Lu. Didn't get Lu. Flogel, we got Flogel as a crit. Epona, we got Epona as a crit. And Elaine, we got Elaine as well. And obviously the shitty Keter. The shitty Keter over trigger. So let's take a look at what we actually got, the cool cards that we got. Okay. We've got Gordon, Blaster Blade, Gallatin, a new King of Knights Alfred, which, okay, I'm going to be the first to say it. We should have gotten an Alfred early instead of King of Knights. It's way too soon to reprint King of Knights Alfred. I mean, it just shows that Bushiroad is like fumbling around. They have no synergy whatsoever with their design team. I am convinced. Like, I don't know if this is real, but I heard that they design cards a year out. If that's the case, then like literally as the new Alfred was coming out, they were designing this one, which is kind of like fucking stupid on their end. Soul Saber Dragon, fucking thank you. I hate Virgilla with a fucking passion, and I am so glad we actually have a Soul Saber Dragon. We have a new Marin, we have a new Lien, new Wingle, and I love the artwork for Wingle. Like, I love Wingle. Wingle is such a cool card. We have the Surgown, we have Isolt, and then our triggers. Some of the stuff that's a little questionable. I don't particularly like the fact that we have 2 grade 1s that are supposed to be our ride targets. Like, Wingle makes Barkle call out a Flogel, which is, it's cool. I'm gonna be that guy. I think it's cool. I don't mind it. But it could have been cooler if instead of it being rest to call a Flogel, it should have just been rest to call an Aichi icon unit. I'm just saying. If Kai's deck is allowed to retire, if his grade 1 is allowed to search for fucking anything, Barkle, I feel like, should be the thing on the board that you're trying to retire, you're trying to get rid of. Because, I mean, he's just too strong. Like, it would be strong if you could just call any icon unit. So, I feel like that's where their first mistake was. It should have been any icon unit, not just Flogel. Because then you don't have to call a trigger. And you're still kind of doing what his original effect was, just a bit more modernized. Probably a bit too overtuned, but more modernized. And I feel like the deck could have used something like that. Leon is great. That's Luard support if you play Luard. Marco, if you're listening, that's Luard support. Speaking of, well, the opposite of Luard support. They gave us a Surgown. What the fuck? Great reprint. Great reprint on Surgown. Twin Cats is another great reprint. I did not expect it. Honestly, the best thing about this trial deck is how defensive it is. Almost all your cards, pretty much all your cards have shield, and the only one that doesn't is fucking King of Knights, but that's your Vanguard. Soul Saber, oh my god, 10k shield, insane. Super duper insane. Let's see here. Gallatin is a twin cast from drop. I love that. When I first saw the drop effect, my heart sank because I thought we're gonna get a fucking Maple clone and it's gonna be Gallatin. But no, he just binds itself to give 10k to your Vanguard. It's like a little mini twin cast. I don't hate that whatsoever. Gordon is also a 10k shield. And, no, I mean, this is just too cool. My biggest gripe with D is the fact that you have no shield. At least this gives you shield. Now, another thing, too, is the fact that, like, the Kai deck does have bigger columns than the shield that this can produce. And that is something that is and should be addressed by Bushiroad. I don't think they will because it's a brand new product, and Bushiroad would rather, like, you know, bury their heads in the sand than actually, like, look into any issues in their game balancing. But still, as a product, I honestly have no issues with this with this trial deck. I'm a Royal Paladin fan, so of course I'm gonna be heavily biased towards this product. But honestly, it's still a pretty good product. I've seen people say, "Oh man, imagine buying a Kai deck and a Aichi deck, and like you make your friend play the Aichi deck while you play the Kai deck, and they completely get turned off from the game." I mean, the game started with a Kai and Aichi deck, where the Kai deck was way too overtuned and the Aichi deck barely did anything. And the game managed to survive then. I feel like it'll survive now. I don't think people like are gonna care too much about one deck being stronger than the other. Because, I mean, I don't know, it's such a weird argument. Like, oh, I'm gonna quit this game because my trial deck is super weak compared to this other one. Like, I don't know. There's the fact that this has more options in deck building than the Kai deck is just another thing to look into. And it's also, they just got revealed. They're not even printed yet. Well, they are, but you know, people don't have access to these cards yet. So like, I honestly truly think this is just another case of people are like either like downplaying, or like they're just like going a bit too crazy when it comes to like these reveals. There's been multiple times where people have said, oh, these cards are garbage, and it actually turned out to be like a meta threat. So if you're somebody who's hesitant to pick up this product because everybody online is saying it's crap, but you really like it, like you like the aesthetics, you like Blaster Blade, you like Royal Paladin, you like the theme of this product, I mean, still pick it up. It's a fine product, and honestly, it has stronger reprints than its counterpart. Now, you know, obviously those reprints don't do much for the counterpart because the counterpart is really strong in itself and it doesn't rely on the reprints, but still, this is still a fine product. Another thing I want to look into was potential upgrades within theme. I don't put Coco on here because Coco, yes, you can play Coco. I mean, I own 4 copies, so I will be playing 4 Cocos in mine because I can. But let's say you can't afford Cocos, and I mean, it's not really not necessary. Some things that I've seen some people talk about, and I have other things here that are not included on the slide that I've seen others. This deck is, this product, it has so many options for deck building that, you know, like you can have like a more aggressive build. People prefer the older King of Knights Alfred because it has 5 attacks compared to the new one, which can only do a column, as well as, but the new one also gains triple drive based off of how many units you have. It also can potentially get up to 10k, so it's not a problem. You get the critical if you Persona Road, whereas this one gets the critical if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and that's if it reaches 8k. This one searches for any unit, whereas the new one obviously searches for the Kai, like the Aichi icon units, and but it's still limited to the Royal Paladin. So it's like, even before this product came out, your options were limited to just whatever was here in this row. So, like, yes, King of Knights Alfred from Festival Collection arguably is a little better than King of Knights Alfred, the Fighter's Icon, but not by much. And even then, sometimes you probably prefer triple drive for your first grade 3 swing compared to, let's see, 5 attacks when your opponent's at grade 3. So like, I don't know what the big deal is with this one. I honestly prefer the new one compared to this one. Virgilla's pretty cool because when it attacks, if it's stood by your Vanguard's ability and no drive checks were performed for the battle that your rearguard attacked this turn, Soul Blast 1, King of Knights Alfred, until the end of that battle, this unit's drive becomes 1 and it performs drive checks. Now, the new King of Knights Alfred calls a column, so it wouldn't restand by ability, so this Virgilla doesn't have, or this Soul Saver doesn't have any sort of like synergy with the new King of Knights, so that's another option to maybe run the new King of Knights or the older one. But that's an option. I mean, this card's pretty much just like Rifistor, but worse. Gancelot's not bad, because Gancelot is still pretty strong. When it's discarded from hand during your turn, put it to the bottom of the deck. Search for Blaster Blade, reveal it, put it in hand, and shuffle the deck. So you could tie this with Lien, so that, you know, you place her, draw, discard Gancelot, add Blaster Blade, call Blaster Blade. Now you can retire something on the board, which is not bad. He puts himself to the bottom of the deck too, which is cool. So then you could call it out with Alfred. When it swings, if you didn't have another front row rearguard with the same name as this unit, and your soul has a Blaster Blade, then you get 5k. And for each of your opponent's Vanguard, the grade of each of your opponent's Vanguard, so up to 15k, then you may have this unit get a critical until the end of that battle. If you did at the end of that battle, put this unit to the bottom of the deck, choose a Blaster Blade from Soul, and put it to the hand. Soul or draw. So it's not bad. It's honestly not an awful card. if you have your blaster, like you literally could do Lien, discard Gancelot, search Blaster Blade, swing with a Blaster Blade column, use Alfred, call Gancelot over Blaster Blade. It's going to swing for plus 20 because it gives 5k. And then at the end of the battle, if you give it a crit, it goes to the bottom of the deck, and then you add that Blaster Blade that you called over when you swung. So it's honestly not an awful card, and it's a pretty decent little combo that you have. We have Starry Night Zero, which is also pretty cool. It's considered Gallatin, so you at that point you have to choose whether or not you want to run multiples of this one or multiples of the one that binds, or maybe like half and half or 1 and 3. If you have a Vanguard with Royal Paladin for its clan, you may pay the cost by Energy Blasting 3. This unit is placed on Rear Circle. If you do not have a Rear Guard with the same name as this unit, Counterblast 1, draw. Rear Circle, when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, this gets 5k power. If you have 4 or more units, it gets 10k instead of 5k. And then once per turn, Rear Circle, when it attacks, if you have a Vanguard with only Royal Paladin for its clan, and you Persona Road this turn, and this unit was stood by your Vanguard's ability, Counterblast 1, your opponent cannot activate auto abilities for their cards until the end of that battle. So no, this is a PG blocker. This one's not bad because you could work this one with Soul Saber, because Soul Saber stands up to 2 columns. So this one's actually not too bad, because at least it works with kind of like your finisher. So I don't hate this unit. I don't hate it at all. You could run 1 and 2. But, you know, it's optional. We have actually, I'll be honest, guys. I've never fucking read this card. Night of Restoration of Bisons. This is going to be a fucking doozy for me. If you have Vanguard with only Royal Paladin for its clan, this card is only Royal Paladin for its clan. When this unit is placed on Rear from hand, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Alfred in its name, this unit gets 2,000 power until end of turn. Then if you have not countercharged this turn, Soul Blast 2, countercharge 1. If you have a Vanguard with only Royal Paladin for its clan, this unit gets intercept and can intercept from the back row. Yeah, that's a good option, because you could literally call it with Alfred, and now you have an intercept for the back row. You could also choose to run a hostage package with Leo, because then at that point, you could start putting back your Gallatins, you could put back your PGs, you could put back, what's it called, Overtrigger, if you need to. But you could play this deck as defensive as possible with thinning it out as much as you can, putting triggers back by calling them off of Alfred. I don't know, it's cool. It's got some cool little options here and there. We also have the just regular Keter stuff that you could run. You could run your Nebula Knight's Order. I don't think you need to. And if it turns out to be an expensive card, I honestly don't think you should like go out of your way. If this is your one Keter deck, you don't have to go out of your way to pick up the Nebula Knight's Order. It's an option, but I mean, you have a lot of good discard fodder already, and your units can build up quite the field. So I don't hate it. I honestly don't hate. The not having to run Nebula Knight's Order. But one thing I did want to kind of talk about was the upcoming stream that's coming out on the 24th. It's I don't know, I'm excited for it because like it's supposed to be the 15th anniversary stream, like just Vanguard. It's not any other like Bushiroad IP. Now, what do I expect to see in there? Probably like more information for the fucking Love Life thing, and what's it called, Yakuza and Inazuma 11 and shit like that. Probably Set 14 stuff, Set 14 news. What I would hope, this is copium, this is straight up cope, that we get a booster set that supports fighters icons, as well as more starter decks. In my previous video, somebody commented that more than likely Ren would be getting something. I hope so. I hope Ren gets something. I hope Leon gets something. But honestly, Kamui, Misaki, they all deserve something. I honestly think that I'm also thinking a bit too close-mindedly. There's also Ezel. There's also Liberators and Revengers and like what's it called? There's Lukier. Vanguard is a huge IP with 15 years that we're trying to celebrate. So just keeping it to season 1 seems a little weird. So who knows? Maybe we get a new like Aichi starter that instead of it being Blaster Blade, they do the Gold Paladin version. Same thing with Kai. Instead of it being Dragonic Overlord, it's the Narukami version, the ones that came out like when Break Riot or Limit Break first came out. So there's a lot of things that they could do. My main thing that I would like to see from them is just more product with this clan icon stuff. I honestly think this is a step in the right direction in terms of like, it's limiting, but you add more of these types of units, I feel like it helps with kind of, I don't know, like it helps them with card design, makes things not too strong. You want to make a Royal Paladin like support, but you don't want to necessarily make it searchable. You just don't include the fighter's icon. You make a fighter's icon unit that's pretty strong. So like, you know, there's things that they can do now when in terms of like card balancing. I mean, it's also Bushiroad, so it's like, let's not get it twisted. These people probably will do this as a one and done and call it a day. But it's nice to be hopeful about this card game. So yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna leave the video. It's already going over 20 minutes. So let me know what you guys think. I want to hear your thoughts on this product. Do you think it's crap? Do you think it's cool? Will you be picking one up? And what do you hope to see for this 15th anniversary? Or just Vanguard in general. We're starting to see a lot of things end for Vanguard. So there's a lot of... We're starting to get towards more uncharted territory as the anime ends and as we start to reach towards the next era. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for your support as always. Thanks to the new subscribers that joined me from the previous video. Hopefully you guys stick around. A lot of cool stuff coming. And yeah, let's celebrate the 15th anniversary of Vanguard together if Bushiroad won. Bye, guys.